Hello Nitro fans, and welcome to part 8 of my Schumacher XTR21 rebuild. It's been a bit of a long journey, but we're finally here to the point where things are getting together, and the engine on the previous video did fire up. It may not have been too successful, but there are issues with it that I need to sort out, and hopefully in this video we'll get through those issues. We'll get it running properly. But first off, we're going to look at the steering. The steering is an absolutely pile of junk. I'm not sure why it's tight, but we'll have a look. We'll get that sorted so it's at least it can be controlled. Yeah, so a bit of a spoiler alert. This video is a little bit longer than my previous ones. And another spoiler alert. The Nitro engine in this car was a pig, and I kind of, what's the word I'm trying to think of here? I pride myself in knowing about nitros. Not everything by any stretch, but I'd like to think I know where to set things and how to set them and what it sounds like. So this video, because this intro's done after I've done the tinkering, if you can call it tinkering. So this is future me talking about something I've done in the past. Does that make sense? Is that even a thing? You know what I mean. So the video, although it's a bit longer, it does show the progression of the car tuning. And I'll try to portray that in the video. So although it might be a lot of noise, I'm hoping it portrays the effort I put in. So that's enough of me waffling on for the moment. Let's get on with the video, and I hope you enjoy it. So we're going to start this one now. If you remember from previously, the steering, if I can move it now, it's really stiff. I'm not quite sure why, but I'm going to have to look into this. I've got a, what is this? I've got a steering pivot set. So this is brand new in packet. It's actually for the, I think, I want to say it's for like a different model, but it does fit this chassis. I don't know whether I'm going to film all this. I don't know if you'll be bored watching me take all this apart again. The whole front's got to come off, which could mean a bit of a long drawn out video. Okay, so that's the front bumper off. Bit more access to the front now. Then now that's off. It's a bit harder than you think, that is. But anyway, it just allows you to give access here. Now I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take these out, because that releases the shock mount and also the pivot cover, if you like, for the steering, and that's where the problem is. It's underneath. It's actually not as stiff as it was, but it's definitely too stiff. So the next thing is to undo those two there, and undo that one and that one, and then it's two underneath. This will all flop around then, so anyway, let me do that. So that's the only strength that that bulkhead has, is these two that go in. That's why when you get, if you buy these second hand, they're absolutely knackered, the way that people treat them, drive them, repair them. But yeah. Okay, so I'm going to undo. I think that is part of that. There's like a. You probably can't see it from there, but that's this bracket here. It's got pivots on it for the steering pivots, which is sort of part of these, and also it's mounted to the chassis here. So I think I need to undo everything really. Yeah, let's undo. These are too long anyway, but the screws that go in, this will stick out far too much. I probably have got. I might try and find some better length ones, to be honest. They go into like lock nuts. It's little things like that that come out, and you've got to be careful you don't lose. It's like a tiny little spacer. So I'll put that there so I can lose it. Oh, that comes out of there somewhere. Oh, I lost it and not realised it's come off. Oh, was it never on there to start with? Right, so that's the front completely off. It's still quite difficult to see what's not free, if I'm honest. That one there is really loose. That one's not. So that's going to tighten it up a little bit as well. So it could be a simple case of just undoing that a little bit. I think we might have to free up the actual hubs, which are these bits at the end. If you remember, I took some play out of them. So in the first instant, that's now loose, and that one's loose. So there's nothing binding there. They're a little bit stiff, but they're supposed to be like that. You can't have them flopping around. So maybe I'll put those in with a little bit of grease. So I have got new ones. I may not even need these. What is this? High performance lithium grease. I mean, it's probably not, it definitely won't be for these, but better than nothing. So all I've done is just oiled moving parts, pivot points, undone some bolts. The pivots in there, they've got a bit of grease on them now. It feels right. I think if anything the hubs are a bit tight where I space them. But that one's quite loose. That one's a little bit tight. At the minute I haven't actually opened that yet. It might be worth me doing that to put it all back together. I think I might have lost the other one of them though. It's a spacer. I don't know where it is. Or it weren't in there to start with. I've only gone and found it. Flipping heck. Right. Take note. So I'm going to open this now. Just to sort of get the instructions out so it can be correctly spaced. I just need to make sure that this is all put together correctly. I think it is. That bit is. That bit's fine. It's just a case now of putting it back together using the correct screws, washers. So that's the front bit. It's kind of together. Now it's about the spacers of these steering arms here. They've got washers under there, and that one. Maybe I've got the wrong amount of washers. Yeah, so I'm going to go by the instructions here in a minute. It says just an M3 washer, so I think I might have had too many under there. He's dropped something else. He's dropped something else. Don't panic. Found it. Not that you're panicking, but there you go. Okay, so it does say to use thread lock, but maybe a tiny bit, because if they come off, we're all dead. Like that. There's a little bit on there, not too much. That's it. Built all my other kits, no thread lock. Built this one, 2 little smidgens of thread lock. So all that's left to do now is, well, at this part anyway, is to reattach the steering servo, and turn it on to see if I can get any steering. I'm not going to hold my breath. I've got to put the front bumper on, but I'm not doing that just yet. The proof will be in the pudding, and I'll turn it all on. Model 7. I don't think I've renamed it. Well, there you go. Proof's in the pudding. It's just getting caught here, just by design. So readjusting the bar makes it tight up against the steering horn. So it's just endpoints need doing. So let me just do that quickly. So that's done. The steering's done. I think I might leave them off, the adjustable toe links, for now. Right. What about left? Let me put the fuel tank on and the bumper, and then we'll go for another fire up tuning bench. I left the bloody camera on all night and on charge. What a dickhead. Anyway, steering's done.
I've got a new rubber pipe on here, which I think, what I'm hoping is it fits this. Let's see if it goes in there. Yeah, it does go in there, which is good. We have to put a little cable tie around here, and hopefully it won't sort of leak out. I don't want a big mess. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to prime it. I'm going to run it without the filter, the air filter. I need to be able to get to all the adjustments. So that one, and the throttle, which I think is there. Seems okay. This has just been charged. Let's see, this is done live as well. I know it's a recording, but it's done live. Right, ready? Ready? What? What are you waiting for? Nothing! Nothing! Let's try again. There we go, bit of life.
So you can hear here it started, but when I get the throttle on, it dies straight away. I do a little bit of tuning here, on and off, high speed needle as you can see. Try again, and then it wouldn't start. So you've just got to alter something a little bit, and you get real problems. It might want more fuel. You can hear it there, just firing into life. There's hardly any fuel anyway left in the tank. But do the trigger, nothing. It's absolutely flat as shit. Flat. Now,
It's not picking up when you open the throttle. I've got nitro in my eyes now, so let me. That's why I've got glasses. So that doesn't happen.
so we're having another go. We've got more fuel. Doing the trigger. It's like the car's doing nothing. And no doubt throughout this whole video, tweaking here, tweaking there, twisting here, twisting there. Absolutely, I I was getting to my wit's end, and then it went off. Perseverance pays off. We keep going and going and going. If you watch the timestamp at the bottom, you'll see how quickly that evolves. And just 1 minute it's like, 13:41, 44. Hence why I was down there for like, over 3 hours down there. 3 hours. I'm still not happy there. So, yeah.
Swap the filter around. What's that going to do? Nothing, probably. Strip the carb. It's got a better gap, which it didn't have before. Should be alright. Let's get some fuel in it first. Apologies for the shit camera, but we'll see. We shall see.
So we try again. But we've done some adjustments this time. Like I said, the carb was stripped. And rebuilt, so it's back to what it should have been now, and we just have to go 1/16 of an inch at a time, really small increments, and that's really important. So it does sound ever so slightly better. See there, it's not dying as much. Another little tweak. That there's the low speed needle. It's still not great. It's dying but running. I think I can't see there. It's either a case of the throttle stop and the low speed needle, and it's not running particularly very hot. But we stop it anyway. Put some more fuel in. It isn't screaming its nuts off now when you start it, which made me think it was drawing air in, but it wasn't. So it is running, and it does come to a stop on idle. That's what I'm working with at the moment. So that there's the high speed needle. I'm just trying to weaken it off a little bit. And it starts to rev, which it definitely wasn't doing for the last 3 hours. So I'm onto something here now. If you can hear the engine now, it's lazy, but you could probably see the exhaust as well. It's quite rich. So that's either the low speed needle or the throttle stop. Ticking over nicely, or better. I know it can be improved. So it's still lazy. When you open the throttle, it's a bit spluttery. So again, we try. I've wound that in a fraction. So it's still It's picking up now, but it won't rev very high. As I said there, it's better. So then I go to the... I'm trying to think what it is now. What is that I'm trying to get there? It's either my arm's in the way, the throttle stop, or the low speed needle. So we're within the ballpark now. It's going to definitely take more work. I'm not disputing that. But if you watch the exhaust of how much is coming out in that clear pipe, there's plenty of smoke and oil and fuel, so it is still too rich. I did change the plug. Don't know what's in it now. As I said, it is revving, and I'm pretty pleased with that. You'll have to excuse the swearing, but this is for adults, not kids. So now it sounds more like a Nitro. I still think it's a lot, definitely needs weaker. So we'll try again. There we go. That's better. Can you hear the difference? There we go, that's better. This is what I'm trying to portray in the video. Not very hot. Yeah, I like that. That's usable now, as it is. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Still work to do. Brakes work. It ticks over. It's probably still running too rich still. But that's a lot better than it was.
That's taken all afternoon. All afternoon.
And there we go.
Man. Oh, jeez. Hang on, let's move this camera off. Hopefully you can see me in shot. I can't even see the camera. I don't know. What did I start? Over 3 hours. Flipping heck. So all I did was strip the carb down, move the linkage, change the fuel filter, different plug, and tuned. Oh, fucking hell. That was hard work. I'll do a proper closing when I got back at the desk. But I've never had one that difficult. Let me know, let me know in the comments what you think. But I'll see you in a bit.
Okay, so that was the oh my god, that I have to say, I'm not gonna. It was an absolute freaking nightmare. Oh my god, I was completely lost in what to do. I hardly ever struggle when it comes to nitro engines. You can normally tell if there's a problem with it. I'm fairly meticulous with the build and the condition of the nitro engines. And most of my engines are bought second hand, so you don't really know the full history of that engine. An absolutely effed nitro engine is obvious. You can, without even taking the engine apart, you can normally have a good indication that it might not be any good. This engine, when I took it apart back in part whatever it was, I felt that when I was taking it apart, it was in really good condition. I stripped the carb, I stripped it all down as my video suggested. I don't know if I filmed it all nut and bolt, but I can tell you now that it was stripped down, cleaned, and put back together. I cleaned all the crankshaft up and took all the tarnishing from the previous owner that had it on, like they do. It doesn't really make them any worse, but I just wanted to have a clean start. And oh my God, I can't believe how I struggled. Now, I never, ever go online to what, not to what, to source problems. And the only reason is you go online on any forum, they're usually years old, and there's so much contradiction. And people do, I don't know why people put half the stuff that they put. Don't say anything because it isn't making sense what you're putting anyway. And for the most part, it's wrong. You usually find that people that know don't have to blag on about it online. And I was getting myself drawn into the crap. I eventually went to, and I don't often do this either. I actually went to, these engines aren't even made anymore. What are they? The Pro 21R. I think they were like Thunder Tiger engines. So they come in various different guises. Now, I think there's a plenty of them around. Or what are they? Point 21, isn't it? I'm trying to. There's me saying I know what I'm talking about, and I've forgotten most of it. But yeah, point 21. It's an old engine. It's certainly, I don't think, made any more new to this spec. So trying to find information like a PDF of the engine or anything, any sort of steps of how to get it running is almost impossible. I did find something online and I was using it, and I went back to basics on where to set the low speed needle, the high speed needle. What else? I mean the throttle gap in the carb's fairly standard, so I set that at the time when I was messing around with it, set it to what I thought it was. But for some reason, every time you went to start it, it just freaking died. You opened the throttle, and I was even looking at the car, but I could see that it was too rich. But I'm thinking, how much further am I going to have to freaking wind anything in? It was just stupid. And then the high speed needle, if you wind that in too much, it just wouldn't start. Anyway, I eventually, as I said in the video, I took the carb off and I stripped it. And I was looking at it in there in the shed. I was thinking, I can't see anything wrong. The only thing I did notice, two things which I thought, I don't know. I did notice that the slide carb part of the butterfly, if you like, the slide bit, wasn't fully shut. And the servo wasn't pulling it shut enough. There was a bit of like, when it was braking, it apply the brakes, but the carb wasn't shut. So you're trying to tune the carb with the gap a bit too high, the air gap, the bit that when it should tick over, which might have been, or probably was a bit of an issue. I also noticed the angle of the rod, the throttle rod from the servo to the ball joint at the end. That's got like a slight kick up on it because the position of where it all is, it's very. I mean, got to remember, it's like so old. I mean, you're working with things that you can't get anyway, and then when they do work, do they work well enough? But anyway, the kick up seemed under tension, and I think I had the end of the carb has like a little aluminium bracket, if you like, which goes a ball joint. I think I had that bracket the wrong way round, so that the ball joint was too far to, turn that picture around, you can see in front of you, too far towards the engine. So I could have either put a bit more of a bend in the bar or put it the right way around, which is what I did. I realised that maybe I should turn that round. And in doing that, the carb shut more and I could adjust it more accurately with the throttle stop, which is what I did. And from then on, eventually, as you saw in the video, it got better. Now, it's still running rich. I was getting And I've been running it for, like it says, over 3 hours on and off. It was absolutely ridiculous. Thank God for the bench running system. You would never have done that out in the field. It would never have happened. You'd have given up. So I can't stress enough about having these ways of running nitros for longer periods. Now, I did during the running process. There were parts. That's why I was doing the temperature. It it was getting really freaking hot, and I'm thinking that's too hot. And then there was other times when it wasn't getting hot. And remember, it is static. There's no air flowing through it. So clearly, the mixture that it was running at or trying to run at, and it wasn't running. I almost gave up. I must admit, I was sitting. I went indoors afterwards, and I said to my other half, I said, "This is going to beat me. I can't believe it. I was actually looking at buying another engine. I went on eBay and went, 60, 70 quid. And I only wanted the carb. That's my thought process. Well, I know the engine's not too bad, but is it the carb? So I stripped the carb down. Still didn't really find anything other than what I said. But anyway, flipping heck. So it's still running rich, quite rich. I don't know what I'm saying there. Quite rich. And I can still wind it in. So it's a funny thing. You'd never be able to teach someone what needle to put in first. I was literally changing between the low speed needle in a bit, the high speed needle out a bit, and reversing that. But the important thing, which I overlooked, I must admit, and when it wasn't working, I thought, freaking wind the bloody thing in. But it takes minuscule adjustments to go from crap working and crap. You've only got to miss that, and you're lost. So my only advice to anybody tuning your nitros is don't over twist or turn any needle. You have to do it. It's such a painstaking ball ache, but I can't stress enough. These small engines take minute, small adjustment, almost to the point you're just flexing the rubber seal in some cases. Don't do what I was doing and freaking winding it in because I've had enough. I thought it's got to do something. If it blows up, and it still wouldn't do it. It still wouldn't run. But we're there or thereabouts. There is still definitely more. At least I think now, if I took it out, it would run, and that's the main thing. And I could just tune it for the atmosphere or the pressure for the day. So that's the end of that video, part 8. What's next? Well, still to do to this chassis. I'm trying to think now. There's not a huge amount, I have to say. I think it's more a case now of trying to find. Here we go again. A body shell to fit a footprint of a buggy. So I managed to do it on a previous car, which there is videos running around that. My Nitro, the Acme Condor. So I've got a shell that fits that. You probably would have, if you've been watching my channel, you would have seen that by now. So I can go down that route again. I'll go down a route of a rear-wheel drive type shell that's suitable, and then we can go from there. By the way, during that 3 hours of pissing around, you won't believe how much fuel I used, which then points to it was too rich. Nearly a whole, over half a bottle of the normal 0.16 or 16% nitro that you get from most of the UK model shops. Anyway, over half. It cost a fortune. Well, that doesn't cost a fortune, but this process has cost me a fortune. Anyway, that's it. This was a bit of a long outro. I do apologise. I'm hoping you'll enjoy the video. There's a little bit, or there will be. I say will be because I haven't done it yet. There's going to be some talk over. I hope it came out all right. We'll find out. But that's the end of this video, part 8 of this Schumacher XTR Pro 21R rebuild. We got there eventually. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learnt something. If you've got any feedback or advice, it'd be good to hear from you if you've got one, or if you have the same issues. But you know, we're there now, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.